Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey, Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to come to you on this morning to lead you in a very special way in yet another Good Morning Grief Devotion. Hey, this is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural or the normal, the necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal that on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout, good morning, because morning is a good thing. Thank y'all so very much for joining us on today. I'm super duper excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you on today to lead you in today's grief devotion. Thank y'all for joining us. Make sure if this is a blessing to you, it's going to be a blessing to somebody else. So like, share the wealth, all of those wonderful things. It's going to be needed. And I am so appreciative of your attendance here on today. Make sure you tag somebody in this post as we all navigate through our grief journey together. Remember, our primary focus is death, but grief deals with any loss, change, and or transition. And we over here believe that small steps lead to great distances. And so we're going to continue to take a small step and another step and another step and another step and another step. We take daily steps that lead us on our journey of healing. That sounds like a tagline, don't it? I gotta flesh that out. We take daily steps that lead us long distances on our journey. Yeah, I'm gonna flesh that thing out. We take small steps, y'all. So every time you show up, it's a small step, and we are grateful because small steps, what? They lead to great distances. All right, without further ado, let's prepare our hearts and our minds to dive in today's daily hope. To dive in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. That's what happens when you do a bunch of devotions, you get them all mixed up. So today is day 68. Today is day 68, and we are actually going to talk about, if my slides can download, and they are taking their sweet time. Excuse me. Here it is. Today is day 68. We're going to talk about the possibilities are endless. 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 Y'all hear that echo? The possibilities are endless. Let's get into our devotion for the day, y'all, to see what we're talking about. My grief is a transitional experience. You are in transition. Change is hard, and this movement from before to after is painful. My grief is a transitional experience. Change is hard, and this, what did it say? This movement from before to after is painful. This is a transitional experience. Whenever you deal with loss, change, or transition, there is a transition. Whenever you deal with loss and change, there is a transition, right? It is a transitional experience, and grief can be hard. I want you to understand this. Like I said, death primarily, but any change or loss that you go through in your life, you find yourself in transition. Right? Going from one job to another, transition, right? One house to another, transition, losing a pet, transition, getting married, transition, graduated from college, transition, from a kid to an adult, transition, retiring, transition, married to divorce, transition, mother to motherless because you lost a child, father to fatherless because you lost a child, transition, right? A child that loses a parent or a spouse that loses a spouse, transition. We were best friends, now we're not friends, transition. Any loss or change, there's a period of transition. There's a period of transition. What you got to know about transition is that when you start dealing with transition, change is hard. Just think about this, moving. Just think about moving. If you move, if you get a new house, apartment, whatever the case may be, you got to move. People are a part of it, you excited, but a part of it, I've never met anybody that says, I love to move. I love to pack up all of my house and to do all of this stuff and get by. It can be like because you don't know how much stuff you have until it's time to move. You don't know how much you accumulated until it's time to move. You don't know all of the things that you got to gather together until it's time to move, right? That's what happens when you deal with loss and change. You don't know how deeply rooted you were until you get into that transition. You don't know how attached you were until you go through that transition. You don't know how invested you are and really what it meant to you, right? Until you go through that transition. So transition can be a hard thing. And awareness is everything. I want you to know in this season of loss and change, you are going through transition and it can be painful. It can be hard. It can be difficult to deal with, right? I want you to know this. I'm helping you to understand you where you are. Things are hard right now. Why? Because you're in transition, right? And this is the thing. It's for now. It's not for never, right? It won't be forever. I want to say never to now, never. It's for now, but it's not for never. That don't even sound right, but you understand what I'm saying? It's just for now, right? It's not forever. It's for now, it's not forever. But you got to understand the season that you're in. You're in transition. My grief is a transitional experience. Change is hard. This movement from before to after is painful. This is a transitional experience. Change is hard. The movement from before to after, it can be very difficult. But even in the midst of my pain, I'm starting to feel some doors open. Ooh. Even in the midst of pain, you will start to feel some doors open. I'm realizing that many of my old assumptions about my life are no longer valid. Even in the midst of the pain, you're going to go through it, you're going to deal with it, you're going to feel it, but you're going to start to see some doors open, right? God is going to, yesterday we were talking about growth and development. A lot of times you just don't go through, but you grow through. You start to see some doors open, right? That God doesn't just leave you in a position where it's painful and you're going through this experience and you're navigating through it by yourself and you're left by yourself and don't know how to do it or how to. No, you start to navigate through this experience. And even in the midst of your pain, you start to see doors open, right? You start to have epiphanies. You start to gain wisdom. You start to see things, right? Things begin to shift. Things begin to change. I told you, you'll never be the same, right? And that's okay because you start to see things differently. I'm realizing that many of my old assumptions about my life are no longer valid. Within reason, I can do anything I want. I can be anything I want. I can open up my eyes to life in infinite ways. The gaping tear in my heart is the place where new possibilities are entering. This is the thing. You start to see things differently. There's some old assumptions that we had and some old things that we used to hold on to. When you start to go through this change, it's like something comes alive. It's like you come out of the winter of your life and you're springing towards the summer. You start to see new possibilities, new chances, new opportunities, right? And a lot of times, because I told you yesterday, we try to voice the man. We try to go back to the way things used to be, right? And it'll never be the way it was, right? That a lot of times you are becoming 2.0. You're becoming a newer version of yourself. You're going to emerge from the pain. You're going to navigate out of this situation a better version of yourself. And I know it's hard for you to see, but the one that's emerging, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be wiser, you're going to be better. You're going to be able to take the life lessons that you got out of this and you'll be able to apply them to your life going forward. You start to see yourself in a different way, right? And so along with that comes new opportunities, new possibilities. You start to see things in a fresh way. Here it is. I'm realizing that many of my old assumptions about my life are no longer valid within reason. I can do anything I want. I can be anything I want to be. I can open myself to a life in infinite ways. This gaping tear in my heart is the new place where new possibilities are entering. When you got that gaping tear in your heart, it really literally becomes the foundation for new possibilities. It becomes a birthing place. It becomes a place to where you can start to do new things and start to become a different person and start to grow and develop as you navigate through this season of grief. It's so very important for you to know. and understand this. Here it is, y'all. My grief is a transitional experience. Change is hard, and this movement from before to after is painful. Here it is. But even in the midst of my pain, I'm starting to feel some doors opening. I'm realizing that many of my old assumptions about my life are no longer valid. Within reason, I can do anything I want. I can be anything I want. I can open myself to life in infinite ways. The gaping tear in my heart is the place where new possibilities are entering. Go back to the moving illustration. It's painful. Don't nobody want to move. I got to pack all this stuff. I'm attached to this stuff. I'm lashed to this stuff. I got all of this stuff, all of these things. I got to box up. I got to put in this truck. I got to do all of this. But guess what? Yes, you're letting go of the old. Yes, you're going through this transitional experience, but you're transitioning to something new. It's a new house, and it's a new living room, and it's a new kitchen, and there's new memories, and there's new neighbors, and it's new opportunities. It's a newness that comes along with that. It's not either or, it's both and. So I'm feeling some type of way, but there's something new that's emerging. And it's hard to let go of this old. I don't want to go through the pain of packing and going through all of this stuff, but I'm transitioning. And I'm going through this transition, but there's some new experiences that await. There's some newness, there's some freshness, there's some aliveness that's coming along with this, right? That as you navigate through this transitional period, yes, it's painful and I got to deal with these things, but I'm also embracing the fact that I can, that the new person that I'm becoming, the new possibilities and opportunities that await me. I am embracing the fact that I can. As a matter of fact, that's the final thought. I can do anything I want. I can be anything I want. I can open eyes to life in infinite ways. And that the gaping tear in my heart is the place where new possibilities are entering. I can. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 68. We just got that straight. The possibilities are endless. Holla at your boy one time for the one time. If you got questions, you got comments, you got thoughts, I want to hear them. What are your questions? What are your comments? What are your thoughts? What are your questions? What are your comments? What are your thoughts? Questions, comments, thoughts, as you continue to navigate through this thing called grief. We're doing it together in community. It takes this wonderful village that we attend every single day that helps us to make small steps. Why? Because small steps, what do? They lead us to great distances. And as you continue to navigate through your journey, I want you to know that these small steps are going to lead you to great distances. These small steps are going to lead you to great distances. Y'all quiet today. Good morning, everybody. These small steps, they're going to take us a long way, right? And so you can go the wrong way or you can go a long way. And going the long way is by taking these small steps is going to lead us to great distances. Yeah, I ain't got no questions. All right. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat station. Hope y'all have a phenomenal Friday and a wonderful weekend. Let's go.